we hope on the 27th, we will meet those expectations. That's all that we are praying for. Sikandar is a huge project. It's Salman sir, one of the biggest ever superstars that the country has ever seen. And as usual,
you fill every role in the industry actually. So how it is so seamless, but we know how challenging it is actually. And what was the testing point when it comes to Lucifer Universe, starting from 2018 to till now? What was the testing point you would say? And if I have asked one more question to any one of you can answer. What is the one best thing Malayalam cinema does which any other industry does not have?
So I assume the first question is directly at me.
Yes.
No, I consider myself more than anything a student of cinema. I understand that the primary craft that I practice is acting, and I'm always going to be an actor first. But having said that, I'm a student of cinema, and every opportunity I get to learn any craft in cinema, I will learn as much as I can. So for me, the entire process of filmmaking is a giant collaborative process where different people could be handling different things, same person could be handling multiple things, and I want to know, learn, practice, and exercise as many crafts as I can, because that is how you learn cinema. And forever, I hope I'll continue learning, because it's a wonderful medium, a wonderful form of art, where the more you learn, you realize there is so much more to learn. So yeah, I hope I forever remain as astute a student as I am today. And yeah, if it seems like I'm being seamlessly good at all these things that I do, I'll take that as a huge compliment. It's always been a privilege to be able to be part of such an illustrious industry. And your second, I'm going to take the liberty of answering your second question as well. What I believe Malayalam cinema does differently from other industries. Since I'm an actor who's had the privilege of working in multiple industries, I do think maybe one takeaway you could, take from Malayalam cinema is the fact that we always do films and cinema with writers and writing as the fulcrum of it. Even Lucifer, even Empuraan, whatever cinema is happening in Malayalam, everything begins with the writer. The writer is who sets a project together. And that is how much power and respect we give our writers. Murali Gopi is the story, screenplay and dialogue writer of this franchise. And I'm privileged to be able to direct the content that is being written by someone who I believe is one of the finest writers of the country. So maybe that's something other industries can take a leaf out of. Maybe you should start asking yourself, why isn't there a Salim Javed today?
Hi. Hi, I'm Tina Das. I work for the print. First of all, I think I feel like I'm in a candy shop because it's a great chance to meet all the people that I've been a big fan of and to get it all in one stage. So really excited about that and to watch the film. My first question is what you just mentioned about the section of the film, like a large portion of the film being in Hindi. I've seen that a lot of makers from different languages in South at this point, they're also trying to explore this market, which is not just limited to a particular region. I mean, we saw, for example, in Pushpalu, there was a whole trailer launch back in Bihar, which has a massive audience. I'm from Assam, and we watched Malayalam movies when I was growing up. Like, one of the things is we used to have segments on Sunday, different languages, all in Hindi, unfortunately dubbed, really badly dubbed, unfortunately, but we would all watch it for the content. I want to know, sir, when you were making it, like when the second part was coming out, were there like marketing strategies or thoughts in place that we would want to include this particular section, which is now, like in the past 5 years, woken up to Malayalam content in a big way. Now, if you probably just ask somebody on the road, everybody will be like, yes, I watched that Malayalam movie. Wasn't like that earlier. So A, that was one question. The other thing is, I've read multiple interviews where you've mentioned that you've always been a fanboy of Mohanlal sir. And I in fact read one where you said that it's actually harder for him because the fanboy comes out first and the director later. But now you're like 2 films old with him. So what has been the change from the first to the second in this particular franchise? And has the fanboy decreased a little and the director comes first, or is this the same?
So I'll answer the second question first. Yeah, when I first directed him, and I had the privilege of doing my first film with Mohanlal sir, I was a huge fan, and there were multiple moments where the fanboy in me indulged the director in me. But then I did a second and a third film, and now I'm an even bigger fan. So yes, the fanboy in me is still very much awake and crashing, and I make no qualms about it. There are multiple times when I've let the fanboy in me indulge the director in me. But that's okay. I think I'm a true Mohanlal fan, so it's almost like I feel it's my responsibility to not have a bad shot of Mohanlal sir in my film. And I'm first a fan of the actor that Mohanlal sir is. The fan of the star that Mohanlal sir is a distant secondary existence for me. So that way, I think I'll always make sure that in my cinema, I showcase him the way he truly deserves, to the best of my capabilities. Secondly, this film, or the whole world that this franchise exists in, was first born as an idea somewhere in 2016, 2017, when I don't even think Bahubali 1 had released, I'm not sure. So, terminologies like franchise, universe, sequel, prequel, part 1, part 2, chapter 1, chapter 2, and all were not in fashion back then. So this is not a second installment of a franchise that is born out of the success of part 1. This was always designed to be 3 films. Having said that, the best quality about Mr. Murali Gopi's writing as far as these 3 films are concerned is that I believe that each of these 3 films will have an existence as a standalone film as well. So I think for someone who's walking into a theatre to watch the second part, that is Empuraan, you'll completely understand and relate to the film even if you have not seen part 1 of it. My hopes are that somebody who's seen this film and likes it will then want to go and discover the part 1 of it. But it is not going to be a case where you're going to watch this film and not understand the characters or plot if you have not seen part 1. And I'd like to maintain that quality for the third part of this franchise as well. So yeah, this is not a film that is born out of the newfound existence of the pan-India market. This was always ideated this way. Secondly, I really don't think a pan-Indian success can be designed. It has to organically happen. And how does it organically happen? Because you have a story that you want to say, you land on a method and a process through which you want to say that story, and then you be as honest as you can be with it. All the Hindi terrain dialogues, the English dialogues, the other languages that exist within this film are all part of it because the story organically travels like that. It was not me sitting with a pen and paper and deciding, let me have 30% of Hindi dialogues, to 10% of Tamil dialogues, let me cast one actor from there, let me cast one actor from here. I haven't gone down that route. I'm going to trust my content and I'm going to trust the way I have made this film for it to find appeal across the country and across the world. And I hope my expectations are rightfully placed. We will soon figure.
Another thing, 30% of the film is Hindi, pure Hindi. It's happening like in the North India. So nothing called Hindi or Malayalam. Okay.
Hi, this is Vartika from Live Hindustan. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि बिकॉज आप लोग हिंदी सिनेमा हिंदी जो रीजन है उसको इतना फोकस कर रहे हैं, तो हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में ऐसी क्या चीज़ है जो बाकी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री को सीखनी चाहिए? इट इज फॉर कोई भी आंसर कर सकते।
अभी तो फिलहाल ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं लग रहा है जो आप हिंदी सिनेमा से सीख सके।
ओह वाह, माइक पे बोलना, माइक पे।
अभी फिलहाल ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं लग रहा है जो आप हिंदी सिनेमा से सीख सकें, क्योंकि हिंदी सिनेमा खुद इस चक्कर में है कि वो किससे कुछ सीख ले।
बढ़िया। Sir, big fan of Gulab.
I respectfully disagree with Abhimanyu sir. There is a lot for everyone to learn from everywhere. I understand that the conversation and all the praises are around Malayalam cinema of late, but make no mistake, it wasn't too long back when we were sitting in Kerala across tables and thinking, man, how is Hindi cinema doing this? You know, there was a time not too far ago when maverick filmmakers like, you know, Anurag and Vikramaditya Motwane, Hansal Mehta, they all burst onto the scene and they started making content which made us think, wow, how are these guys doing it? Yes, currently Malayalam cinema is going through a great phase, but these phases happen to every industry periodically. You know, don't be surprised if a couple of years from now, the whole conversation is again going to be, look at Hindi cinema. We have finally found our direction. Now let's all look at them and see what we can do. So there are lessons to be learned everywhere. But one thing that is truly aspirational about Hindi cinema post the 90s has been how you have taken your cinema to the world. There is a lesson to learn there for everyone. Hindi cinema has been absolutely path-breaking in taking Indian cinema to the world and for people around the world to discover content that's being made within this country. And for all regional languages, however much pan-Indian success we discover and find in the future, we'll forever be indebted to Hindi cinema to have shown us the way. So there is a lesson to be learned there.
We'll also request if Mr. Tovino and Miss Manju can answer the same question.
Yes.
The same question?
Same question?
You already
There are more
answered.
questions to ask, I'm sure.
Already so beautifully answered,
Yeah.
so there is nothing more to add. मैं गीता
Probably we'll
जोशी-
answer something
sorry,
else.
sorry.
Yeah, there are more questions, I'm sure.
Oh, sure. Yes, please.
सर मैं गीता जोशी एनडीटीवी से सर मेरा सवाल इसी से ही मिलता जुलता है कि कल जाट की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी, उसके निर्माता निर्देशक सब दक्षिण से हैं और सनी देओल ने कहा था कि जो बॉलीवुड है उसको बहुत सीखने की जरूरत है दक्षिण सिनेमा से, और मैं चाहता हूं कि मैं वहां पर सेटल हो जाऊं, इतनी बड़ी बात सनी देओल ने कही है। और ये जो बहस है ये काफी लंबी चल चुकी है कि दक्षिण सिनेमा ऐसा क्या कर रहा है जो हर कोई दक्षिण सिनेमा की ओर खींचता चला जा रहा है। तो सर, पृथ्वी सर, आपने ये सवाल किया था, आपने कहा था कि राइटर्स पे काफी निर्भर करता है कि फिल्म कैसी जाए। कल उन्होंने प्रोड्यूसर्स का बोला, डायरेक्टर्स हीरो होते हैं फिल्म के, ये बोला। जो बॉलीवुड जो है उनको उस तरह से तवज्जो नहीं देता, वहां पर सिर्फ प्रोड्यूसर की सुनी जाती है। तो क्या आप इससे सहमत हैं?
Again, the answer is going to be very similar to my answer for the previous question. We are privileged that Sunny Deol sir thinks he wants to come and live in the south of India. He's more than welcome to. We are big fans of Sunny Deol sir and his cinema. But I'm from South Indian cinema and I live mostly in Bombay. So I don't know how qualified I am going to be to answer that question. But the writers, the fact that the power centers of every piece of cinema that is made are writers is something that I truly believe Malayalam cinema can be very, very proud of. Because ultimately the utility of the medium is to be telling a story. And a story is always born within the minds of a writer. It could be a writer, director, or just a writer. But the fact is that my writer is not keeping well. He is not keeping physically well, or else he would have traveled with us and he would have been sharing the stage with us, because that's how much we respect the fact that it is his brainchild that we are all today have conceived into this film. I don't see that happening a lot in other states. I don't see that happening a lot in Bollywood, in Tamil cinema, and Telugu cinema, where you get to meet the writers behind films. But that used to be the case with Hindi cinema. That used to be the case, like you and I know. Salim Javed were as big as stars as Bachchan sir or Manmohan Desai sir. Somewhere I think Hindi cinema has lost that route, and it's become algorithms and designs and all that. Maybe that's one lesson I'd keep reiterating, that Malayalam cinema should hold on to and never lose grasp of. Other than that, like I said, yeah, it's a phase. We had really bad phases as an industry too. We've gone through extended periods of time where we just were not able to come up with quality cinema. And then there would be a wave of new filmmakers, new writers who come and rediscover actors, a completely new filmmaker who'd come and do a film with someone like Mohanlal sir, who's been around for 4 decades, and make a startlingly original piece of cinema, and then there will be an awakening of sorts. Something like that will happen soon in Hindi cinema. It's not all doom and sad stories, it's just, you guys are still the biggest industry in the country in terms of volume and the number of films you make, so it will happen.
See, watching Malayalam films, normally people will say, oh, you cannot make it in Hindi or in Telugu or Tamil. Definitely we can make. So for example, I have done some films on Alzheimer's, I've done some films on dual personality. So many films I have done. Very serious films, bipolar disorder. See, you can try and do it. Since he told, we have very strong writers, means the beginning of the Malayalam film, we used to take stories from the novels. There were great writers. Same thing happened everywhere, even Tamil also. So in between, somewhere, there was a missing. Definitely you can connect it and you can create great films in all languages. Or now it is called pan-Indian, whatever. You can see a Malayalam film in Hindi, or a Malayalam actors in Hindi, or in Telugu, Tamil. It's a great thing. Or a Hindi film in Malayalam. It's growing, like the industry is growing, and we don't have any complaints. Let it grow. My... Sorry, okay.
प्रोड्यूसर्स नहीं है, उनसे ये सवाल था, इसका शायद जवाब आप दे सके। कल मैं एक रिपोर्ट पढ़ रही थी, रमेश वाला की ट्वीट मैंने देखा कि 58 करोड़ एडवांस बुकिंग इस फिल्म की हो चुकी है, और सिकंदर के साथ ये फिल्म रिलीज हो रही है। तो क्या लगता है कि जो टक्कर है वो कांटे की होने वाली है, और वाकई में 58 करोड़ जो नंबर्स थे कल के एडवांस बुकिंग के, क्या वो वाकई में 58 करोड़ हैं?
58 is 58, right?
Yes.
So no, that's wrong. It's more like 64 something now.
वो आज बढ़ चुके होंगे, maybe मैं कल की मैं
Correct.
And today we started Hindi also. So we'll answer the question after that.
Sir,
So none of these advanced booking data is created out of thin air. It's all available online. At least for Malayalam cinema right now, it's impossible for us to be just coming up with a figure like that, because every theatre DCR is pretty much available online, and it's public domain. Anybody can go online and check what territory is sold, how many tickets, and you'll get the exact numbers. And these figures actually were first reported by others, not even by the makers. We are truly privileged, blessed, and humbled that we have been met with such anticipation. The numbers that we are discussing right now is usually the lifetime gross of a big Malayalam hit, which we have sort of gained through advanced reservations. So we are really, really humbled, and we are blessed, and we hope on the 27th we will meet those expectations. That's all that we are praying for. Sikandar is a huge, huge project. It's Salman sir, one of the biggest ever superstars that the country has ever seen. And as usual, he's coming on Eid with this banger of a commercial flick with A.R. Murugadoss sir. I wish the team the absolute best. I hope the film goes on to become a blockbuster. I will have no complaints if you watch 11 a.m. Sikandar and 1 p.m. Empuraan.
मोहनलाल सर, सॉरी, लास्ट क्वेश्चंस बहुत सारे थे मेरे पास. ओल्ड इज गोल्ड कहना गलत होगा, अब तो करोड़ में पहुंच रहा है. आप हो गए, सनी देओल हो गए, सलमान, आमिर, शाहरुख, सब 50 लेट 50s 60s, रजनीकांत, आप लोग आते हैं और करोड़ों
60 old. 60 old means old is gold is a phrase.
सर ऐसा क्या?
See, this is a beautiful life you will get. You are born to die.
Yeah.
So no complaints.
अरे पूछने तो दे दो.